Updated news, disappointing news from Zepbound versus Cagrisima that just came out. Breaking the news story here, beautiful friends. Hi, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 101 pounds the last almost 2 years of being on GLP-1 medication. I've personally been on Mounjaro and Zepbound and TIRZEPATIDE compound because of the shortages. And on today's episode, I want to talk about what I had really put my emotional investment, which was Cagrisima, an upcoming GLP-1 medication by the manufacturer Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk manufactures Wegovy and Ozempic. And Eli Lilly manufactures, so a different company, US-based company, Eli Lilly manufactures Mounjaro and Zepbound. And that Kagarsima clinical trial 3 results, if you've been following the story or any of my videos, I've referenced a lot recently about how the Kagarsima, it was supposed to be this step up. And I don't know if many of you are like me, I'm on the highest dose. If you're on Zepbound, 15 milligrams is what I'm on. The equivalent is Mounjaro, 15 milligrams. Zepbound and Mounjaro are tirzepatide, which means they're the highest out of GLP-1s that we currently have on market. There's a ton of GLP-1 medications being tested in clinical trials, but semaglutide, which is Ozempic and Wegovy, slightly less data in terms of weight loss. And so for me, I have hit this high point, this plateau of I've lost over 101 pounds, but my BMI is still 30 pounds away. And so to get there, I'm going to need a higher dose. I think I'm working absolutely on lifestyle habits and things like that. But for me, I had a lot of chips invested in the stock. And so what the news story is that Novo Nordisk reported on Friday, December 21st, 2024, the disappointing results in the late stage trial for its experimental next generation obesity drug, Cagrisima, wiping as much as 125 billion off of its market value. This was, if you own Novo Nordisk stock, it did not do well for you. Excuse me, it was December 20th, 2024. Reuters is my source. I will, as always, cite all my sources in the description link below. I do require myself to be factually accurate, so my link is down below. The lower than expected weight loss from drug company candidate blows a Danish ambition. The company, it's a Danish company, is Wegovy and Ozempic's manufacturer, because it actually did, in terms of the data, Cagrisima trials, which helped patients to cut their weight by 22.7%, which was below the 25% in which we had expected. So we were expecting 25% weight loss from it, and it came in at 22.7%, so less. Now, my immediate first question, and yours probably very well maybe too, as we were connecting these dots, was, okay, well, what's Zepbound? What were the results for Zepbound in there, or Mounjaro, the tirzepatide? It's saying in this article, which I'm from Reuters, was Kagarsima lost 22.7 after 68 weeks. 40.4% losing 25% or more. So there was a 40% population that lost more than 25% or more of their weight. But and I'll talk about the hormones on it, but let me jump to the Zepbound part of it. Zepbound is around the same part. Eli Lilly's obesity injection, known as Zepbound in the United States, led the average weight loss of 23% in clinical trials. So this is good news and bad news. I've got both ways. We're going to look at it from the lens of both good news and bad news. This, to me, it's devastating news in some capacity, that I was hoping that this would be at the 25% mark because it's higher than Zepbound of what potentially we have coming soon on the marketplace. If this had gone through with that, I mean, it's still coming to marketplace, hopefully, God willing, with the FDA approval is now needed now that the clinical trials are done. So we expected it to roll out in late 2025. Retatrutide is known as like the Godzilla of GLP-1 medications, still in clinical trials. That is from the manufacturer Eli Lilly. We won't see that probably until 2026. So this for me was like, ooh, like an escape hatch, because I'm at this high cap. Yes, I've lost a ton of weight. Yes, that's amazing, but I'm not still where I need to be in terms of my BMI and my health goals of this remaining weight. And I am working hard in terms of my food choices, my weight, my exercise choices. Like, I am doing everything on my end, but I do have a GLP-1 deficiency and I'm at the maximum dose. And we know that obesity is a spectrum disease. And so people on different ends of the spectrum, that there's varying treatment plans that are needed for varying degrees on the spectrum. And so with this news source, it goes back through talking about Cagrisima. It's the combination of semaglutide, which is the active ingredient in Wegovy and mimics the gut hormone GLP-1, with a separate molecule called cagrilintide that mimics the pancreatic hormone amylin. And so the two hormones together, so they're like superpowers of the Cagrisima, suppress hunger and help control patients' blood glucose. So if you're type 2 diabetic, this is an awesome one for the blood sugar component on it. So that is exciting. Like this is still, so let me say the thing and I can tell you what the positive news is with it too. Results are, quote, and this is from Reuters, quote, worst case scenario for Novo Nordisk, said Markham Mans, a portfolio manager of mutual funds, that Kagarsima is only as good as Zepbound, but more complex to manufacture. And so that's the part of this of like the manufacturing component. We have seen shortages, so much so for WEGOVY, Ozempic. Zepbound and Mounjaro are off the FDA shortage list that has now gone through, and the FDA has confirmed that it's off the FDA shortage list. Although some of y'all are still seeing shortages out there. I personally have not, although my pharmacist has said that it's still touch and go for my particular pharmacy. You do you, boo. That is my personal opinion on that. But it is officially off of the Zepbound and Mounjaro are officially off of the FDA shortage list. Lilly's own medication, they saw nearly 23% weight loss average in clinical trials. So where they got the data from for the Kagarsima part of this too was about 3,400 people with BMI of 30 or above, or people with BMI of 27 and at least one weight-related comorbidity like hypertension or cardiovascular disease, so like high blood pressure, things like that. Predicting phase 3 results is more of an art than a science. However, I think it was strategic mistake setting expectations so high, said investor Mans, the one that was earlier quoted. And so, however, Novo Nordisk is saying that they're encouraged by the data, which this is encouraging. Here's what I'm going to pause from reading off the article and give my personal opinion. This is still good information for us. I had emailed my hot husband, the Count, and this is our personal text correspondence. So that's not what I wanted to show you guys. Click the wrong button. I'll show that picture later here in a minute. But this was my personal text message with my hot husband. He sent me the link about this article, as he does. You know, any of these news articles, by the way, you can thank the Count. The Count is on it. You may not ever see his hot face and his hot little body, because that's mine. But no, I'm just joking. But he is on top of like getting you guys, and he is so invested in the Counts and Countesses and the Countess of shopping community. So I wrote to him, I'm devastated by this news. This was the drug that I was supposed to be on higher than Zepbound, and I did the cry emoji face. Retatrutide isn't coming out till 2026. This was due in 2025. And so for me, I was like ready to cry. I was like sincerely heartbroken when I saw this. Like, it was upsetting to me. And he wrote back, and so I'm going to say this to you guys. He said, it's going to make me cry. You're taking a miracle drug that has helped you lose 100 pounds. 3 years ago, you had no path. Glass is very full, not empty. And so he's writing this in short because we're texting. It's short format. But so I want to communicate that to you. If this news is, to me, it was upsetting. Like, it was sincerely disappointing and upsetting. I'm like, this was my escape hatch. This was my outlet. This was my like next phase. And he's right. The glass is very full, and I need to focus in on that, of things I can control and things I can change and the things I can't, and the wisdom to know the difference. This is literally my picture from date night on Friday. This was my before picture. Like, obesity for me has been a thing, and it's to be able to go from that to this is the most recent, to wear tights and a skirt that's above my knees, like pick out a cute outfit, literally. I need to do a fashion outfit show for you guys too, because I've changed my clothes so much. Like, I'm wearing a medium top. By the way, I'm wearing the medium top, this one, because you guys told me to. You're like, your top's too big. So thank you guys. Check your clothes. Get those after Christmas sales. We'll be talking about that later on a future episode of, I've been buying clothes to test them for you guys to see what's garbage, what's not. I used to say this top is garbage, but actually now kind of like it. It cuts short, but that's not the point of today's article. We'll do that in another video. But I want to tell you and affirm to you that it feels like it's bad news, but it's actually really good news about this. And one component of Kagarsima is that we are seeing not a monopoly, because that's one. It's two. What's a monopoly that's two? Oligopoly of where it's two. Novo Nordisk, basically WEGOVY and Zepbound for chronic obesity management. We're seeing just two drugs that are the monopoly of this. They're dominating it. In terms of GLP-1, GLP-1s have been out for forever, but in terms of like the strength of these, and so having someone else enter the chat like Kagrisima, even though it is difficult to manufacture, which we know we don't know. I'm predicting, in my personal opinion, this is not news source, this is my personal opinion, that there will be shortages with those two probably when it comes out. And I very well may still switch over. I've said all along, as soon as Cagrisima came to the marketplace, I would switch off of Zepbound. And I still may, pending, of course, always my healthcare provider. And again, I'm not a healthcare provider, simply my experience, strength, and hope for all of this. I have to say that. Make sure you guys know I'm not medically based at all. These are hopefully videos to help spark conversations with your own healthcare provider or dietitian or personal trainer or some expert in a field that I am not, because I know what I am and I know what I'm not, and I'm not any of those. Nor do I want to pretend to play one on the internet like some other creators do. I'm not trying to do that at all. I'm trying to guide and hopefully help spark conversations to get you to the experts. But with this, it's going to help from a business standpoint create more people entering the marketplace is amazing. I love capitalism. I love capitalism because more people entering the marketplace is going to help with operations. It's going to help with cost. It's going to help in general. When there's more competition, things get better. We know that from the American dream, is when there's more stuff, things get better. And so with this competition coming in, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing. And so I've got to look at it from the way that the count is of, count your blessings, basically, is what he didn't say that, but that's what he's saying. Count your blessings, but also it's more competition on the marketplace, which is going to mean all boats rise. And so looking at it from that lens, for me, is very helpful because it was disappointing. The data is still good. It's just the same as Zepbound. And seeing what it's doing with blood sugars is the other comma part of this. For Zepbound and Mounjaro, I don't know, and that's the part that I'm going to learn more about and talk to other experts. I had the blessing of being on Friday, if you follow my Instagram stories, out with two doctors at dinner. It was awesome. It's one of our dear friends. And there are two doctors. One is Duke educated. So I got to ask a ton of million questions about GLP-1. My husband and I were like ready to take notes at the dining room table when we were out to dinner. Like, I got a ton of information for you too from a very non-knowledgeable to very knowledgeable doctors. So I'll do that in another video. But this information is a good thing. I don't know the head-to-head comparisons of Mounjaro, which is for type 2 diabetics, versus Cagrisima versus the blood sugar component, the blood glucose part of it. That I don't know. This was just focusing in on the weight loss component of it for obesity management, not like weight loss, like, like flippant component of weight loss. I'm talking about like obesity management is what I'm referring to, like this. Someone who literally needs, it's chronic, it's chronic, it's fatal. What's the other one? There's a third one. Chronic, fatal, there's a third thing in there of what it is. If I don't have management of it, there's a relapse with it, basically, in terms of I've been on every single diet known to man and relapsed on all of them. Cabbage soup diet, Weight Watchers, Atkins, keto, low carb, you name it, I've been on it. And this, I still love to do low carb, essentially, is what I really, really love to do, and high protein with fruits and vegetables and things like that. And that feels really good for me. But all of that to say, having GLP-1 medication has been like the missing pin, but it's been a huge part of the journey, not a missing pin, but like the landscape of all of this. So I can do all of these other things that I know to do, like move more, eat less. I can do that in combination with GLP-1 medication. And I know many, many thousands and thousands of you counts and countesses out there can too. So let's take this as a win. It is disappointing that it didn't come in as good, but one thing to think of though, let me go back over to it where it said 25%, where was it in here? Despite this disappointing results, Kagarsima is still the best weight loss reported in phase 3 trial. Investors noted that 2 other patient groups in the trial, which were even given only cagrilintide or semaglutide, so those are 2 separate things, were much higher percentages of patients reaching highest dose, 83% for the cagrilintide arm and 70% for semaglutide. The company Novo Nordisk did not respond for a request to comment on why more patients did not end the trial on the highest dose. Novo Nordisk plans to start a new trial in the first half of the year to further explore Cagrisima's additional weight loss potential. Novo Nordisk said in its statement that the drug had similar side effects for GLP-1s already on the market. So that's like diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. Those are so common, which, by the way, during the Christmas holiday, the Hanukkah holiday, New Year's, whatever your belief system is, If you are eating high-rich foods, sugar foods, I just got back from a Christmas party. Be mindful of those 4 side effects: diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting. I've been on this for almost 2 years. This is my second holiday because I didn't start until January. So this is my second like Christmas and holiday season. Eating foods like high sugars and fatty foods and dips and chips and da 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 da. Side effects for me are off the rails right now. I'm not going to dive into it right now. That is my warning for you, though. That is my warning for you. Be warned. Literally, when you're at someone's house for a party and you're like, oh my gosh, I will be re-examining and talking about that later at another date, but I'm warning you guys. They're expected to submit for Kagarsima the drug regulatory approval towards the end of 2025. So we'll see that probably in Q4 of 2025. So October, November, December 2025 at the end of it. Ahead of the trial results, analysts estimated peak sales for Kagarsima could be, do you want to guess how many billions of dollars, billions with a B? 20 billion. So it's the most advanced for the amylin drug candidate being tested on the market. And let me skip over some of this. Concerns Novo Nordisk may be losing the first ever moving advantage of the obesity race and knocks off its shares. I just pictured Eli Lilly sitting back in the office like this on Friday. Like listening to some gangster rap 1990s music, you know, like some Dr. Dre going on in the background, or maybe some Tupac or whatever, like maybe some Snoop. Like I just picture them and being like, dun 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 da 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 da. You know, I love my gangster rap. I love my Christian music and I also love my gangster rap. I do enjoy both. So Simon Baker, head of global biopharma research at Red Atlantic in London, said Kagarsima with a 23% weight loss could still be commercially viable in the long run. The 27% drop in the share price is completely out of proportion fundamentally, but positioning around this event was huge, and it will take a while for it to stabilize. Danish Crown weekend on Friday as the big fall of shares, the largest in the country. So I want to go back over to, it was the percentage that I was looking for that I think is important to note with the people. Let me go back up in the article. 40% losing 25% or more. So that is still encouraging, but then I'm curious how many for Zepbound, how much their percentage. They also have 40% losing 25% or more from the clinical trials. Like that's where this is interesting, and it's interesting. Above all, like the count said, I got to go back over to this, and my text message got partially cut off though. I love his answer to me. This is why I love my hot husband so much. You are taking a miracle drug that has helped you lose 100 pounds. It's actually 101, so I'm going to need to correct him on that. 3 years ago, you had no path. Glass is very full, not empty. We talk about glasses being half full, half empty all the time. So I appreciate his reference of the glass is very full right now. So keep on filling that glass. It's good things to come. And it also reminds me that yes, I have to have medical intervention on this, but I have to still do my part. And so during this holiday season, and if you're watching this after the holiday season, if you're watching this in like spring 2025, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Truly, to me, I've already walked 2 miles this morning. I need to go walk another 2 miles. I'm combating some of the things that I'm eating. I'm just trying to walk more, to be honest. I'm enjoying it and having more of portion control where I'm having bites. I'm also in the 3 and 4, making sure I'm having a ton of fruits and vegetables. Like we went to a party, I had a big bowl of fruit. That was intentional. That was by design to help fill up my stomach. And then the 4th one is protein, lean protein. And thankfully where I'm at, there's things like shrimp and like there's other lean protein type stuff, ham, turkey, things like that I can have too, that filling up on that while I'm having all of these other bodacious sweets. I mean, y'all, I've had some good food. I had cheese, and maybe that's like, I look back of some of these foods that can enhance GLP-1 side effects. High fat foods like full fat cheeses, going to the cheese board and charcuterie board is my favorite thing. I don't remember it being like this last year, literally where my stomach's like, and I just took my shot. I'm trying to think yesterday, maybe that's why. I mean, I just got back from a holiday party. I gotta re-examine that. I'll share that later after I process which, like it was nuts, in a good way, I guess. My sweet friends, I hope that this information, we're going off on, it's the holiday season. So some people are gonna be like, you're so scatterbrained. Yes, I am. I am a mom who's making all the Christmas magic. I am exhausted. I still have to get my house ready for all these people coming over for Christmas Eve party, like all the things, make all the magic happen for my 9-year-old and still try to continue to do all these things and keep the plate spinning. So if that is you, I'm praying for you. I'm sending you so much love. I'm sending myself so much love, and I'm praying for myself too. And I'm trying to keep, for me, my belief systems, the reason for the season, for my particular belief system of really what this is all about. And man, I really am grateful. If you are my free encouragement group, I have, normally I'm all over that group and I still am, but I'm pausing a little bit. I'm doing less because I want to be with my family. It'll still be active and going, just less on my end because I want to be with my family and I want to be in prayer and meditation for myself, for my belief system. This is the Super Bowl time. So I'm trying to keep like in that. So please forgive me if you have posts and things like that in the group. And if other people are saying things in the group, please just, you can shoot me an email because I do check my email constantly. That doesn't stop. But if there's things going on in the group, like I'm just gonna be a lot slower until after Christmas. So, but I love you guys so super much. The daily videos here at YouTube won't stop, honey. Won't stop, get it, won't stop. We're gonna keep that train going though, because we still need that daily motivation to keep it going, to keep these walks going, to keep that food going, to keep these healthy choices going. Baby, to be paying what we're paying per month, that you're paying out of pocket like I am, we gotta keep this train going. Choo choo. I love you guys so super much. If you visited the Vegas meetup, I love you so much. You foreverly changed my life. And I'm not saying that to be like super exaggerated. That's the truth. Many of you have emailed me and I have not had the opportunity to email you back either. Like, I'm literally holding on to a kite that is whipping in the air right now. So I'll get caught back up on my email. If you send me an email and you're one of the Vegas people, please forgive me. It's not you, it's me. I promise you it's not you, it's me. And I hope people aren't like, oh, she's so rude. Not trying to be rude at all. Literally in survival mode right now. My kid had a chorus concert. Yeah, I mean, if I could just go through all the things in my personal life that are happening, it's a lot. I need to go walk Wilma right now because she's out there barking. So our rescue dog, she's like, Mom, it's time for my walk. So I love you guys so super much. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Let's keep this glass half full. Oh, I forgot to do our emoji of the day as a Christmas tree. And that tells me that you made it this far in the video, and then it helps me to get to know you better because I care. Also, when I see our emoji of the day, which is a Christmas tree, I will pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought because all are welcome here at the Countess of Shopping table. Unless you're mean and then you're not welcome. No, I love you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye.